Call it flipping the script or revenge being a dish best served cold. At the end of the day, the Montreal Canadiens went into Scotiabank Arena and beat the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 4-2, exacting a measure of revenge for their loss the other night on Thursday. Did the team play better? Time for some post-game puck talk. Hey gang, Kosta here from Puck Talk Montreal, and as always, welcome to the postgame show. Let's get right into it. And before we look at some quick highlights, let's talk about our sponsor, instacustoms.com. They're your number one destination for custom apparel printing. They're the highest rated print shop in Canada with over 3,000 Google reviews, a 4.9 star rating, and they were nominated for a 2024 Business Choice Award. They print on all your favorite clothing. T-shirts, hoodies, polos, hats, beanies, tote bags, even coffee and travel mugs. And yes, they even offer embroidery. Most orders are printed and shipped the very same day, and large orders in less than 3 days with free shipping. Open 7 days a week. They're located on Stanley Street. Easy to remember because it ties in with the Habs' ultimate goal of winning the Stanley Cup. So whether it's for yourself, a loved one, or your business, trust Instacustoms. Visit us in person or order online at instacustoms.com. And so it begins. The Montreal Canadiens go to Scotiabank Arena, and there's a little bit of a feeling out process. The Canadiens, after all, a little anxious given the result of the 7-2 game the other night at the Bell Center. But just over halfway through the period, Alex Newhook gets a pass from Alexander Carrier after a rebound as Carrier waits, gives it to Newhook, and he puts it home past Anthony Stolarz to make it 1-0. Move on to the second period, as after the teams really didn't have much offense, they started to kick it up in the second with a power play goal coming from Riley Kidney, who scores on a rebound as he sets up a pass, and there's the rebound and he scores. That makes it 2-0, and it looks like the Canadiens are in firm control. They're halfway through the second period and have what's called the dreaded 2-goal lead. And with that, cue up John Tavares, who after Nick Robertson gets tripped in the back, Jack-Eye loses the puck, Tavares scores. That makes it 2-1 and makes Canadiens fans very nervous. Everybody's asking, is Jack-Eye at fault? We'll discuss that in a little bit. Then another power play just 3 minutes later, and it's up to our Calder winner, Lane Hutson, to get a pass, fake a shot, and then put it past Stolarz to make it 3-1. And as he continues to play well, there's no question that Lane Hutson is getting the attention of all the players on the ice, including our favorite pest, Mr. Domi, who claps him in the head when he doesn't have the puck. Thought I'd just throw that in there because, after all, Ty Domi's a little bit of a bitch. Then, later on in the third period, Sean Farrell scoring the last goal for the Montreal Canadiens, potting in a rebound after Belzile loses the puck and putting the puck upstairs over the Toronto goaltender to make it 4-1. And then just a little bit later on, William Nylander scoring with just under 4 minutes left to play, I should say, in the third period. And that's all she wrote. Canadiens coming away with a 4-2 win. Shots on goal at the end of that hockey game were 29-23 in favor of the Montreal Canadiens. And they came away with that 4-2 win, making everybody happy. But the most important part of this game wasn't the fact that everybody was happy. It was that the Montreal Canadiens played as a group. They didn't come in brain dead like they did the other night. Saves were made early. Kaapo Kähkönen played extremely well, right? And I'll discuss the difference between his first game and this one just a little bit later. But overall, the team as a whole was outstanding on both sides of the puck. Now let's talk about our other sponsor, and that is cheapesttshirts.ca. Cheapesttshirts.ca is proudly Canadian and trusted by thousands of customers, and they deliver unbeatable value. You'll always get the lowest prices, plus same-day shipping, even next-day delivery, so your order arrives fast. With over 1,000 products and more than 36 trusted brands like Gildan, Jerseys, American Apparel, the selection is unmatched. Whether you're shopping for everyday clothing tote bags, aprons, and so much more. You'll find it all in one place. Cheapestt-shirts.ca is the go-to source for businesses, events, apparel printing companies, and resellers, or even people just looking for the best deals on everyday clothing. Plus, enjoy free shipping on large orders and a simple, easy-to-use website that makes online ordering a breeze. Get the cheapest deals in Canada today at cheapestt-shirts.ca. So let's take a look at some individual work tonight. Starting with Kaapo Kähkönen, as I mentioned him before. In his first game on Tuesday night, when he got in there and he was scored on right away, you could see that he was flustered. He was flailing. He was losing his net. He looked really nervous. Tonight, completely different story. It was as if another goaltender was in there wearing another mask, because Kähkönen looked like a completely different goalie, in control of his faculties, in good position, square to the shooters. Yes, he didn't look great on the Tavares goal. He was caught by surprise. And then, same thing happened. He was caught by surprise on the Nylander goal late. But at the end of the day, through and through, if you take a look at his effort tonight, he played extremely well given the circumstances. And it earned him a pass to stay with Montreal after the cuts, which we'll talk about just a little bit later in the show. Then you look at other players like Joe Veleno, who was 63% in the faceoff circle. Outstanding. Even Alex Newhook at 50% was great. You take a look at Zach Balduc, who was used in an interesting way, in the sense that the Canadiens were on the power play, and they had a set play where the faceoff was won back to Lane Hudson. Quickly, he gave a pass over to Balduc, who stepped in and took a shot on goal, and the Canadiens even got a rebound out of it. That's not something we've seen very much from the Canadiens on the power play. So it's interesting to see that they're starting to develop plays off faceoffs, one, that actually work in their favor, because we didn't really see that all that often on the power play last year. Sure, they would get control. Sure, they would start passing the puck around, but it was never as quick as just two passes and a shot on goal. So that speaks to what Marty St. Louis was talking about, the evolution of the team and not starting from scratch, and we're moving forward from where they ended last season. It's a step in the right direction, and I'm happy to see it. You take a look at some other guys that were out there. Owen Beck, again, looking good. Oliver Kapanen hitting a goalpost and being noticeable out there. Jaden Struble had a good hockey game. The list goes on and on when you take all the guys that were in the lineup. Tyler Thorpe getting an assist. Alex Belzil played well. Sean Farrell gets a goal. Riley Kidney scores on the power play. A lot went well tonight for the Canadiens. So what are they going to do? What's the decision going to be? Well, decisions were made, and some people were not going to be very happy with the decisions, starting with Joshua Roy, because as the decision was made and we discussed, Roy was the first player on the list to be cut. And that's a disappointment, given the fact that Roy was expected to do more this season after his very good workout regimen with John Chamberlain. You take a look at some of the other names on this list. You've got Thorpe, Meshard, Davidson, Arsenault, Dauphin, Deneen, Dunlop, Estepa, Tuck, Mianskim, Simoneau, Guryanov, Kidney. Then on defense, you've got Jacobs, Martin, Bisson, Louis-Jean, O'Rourke, and Wiley. And then in goal, Fowler, of course, as the starter. He got sent down. Mandalese, who was signed to a PTO and is still there now with the Rocket now. Goudreau and Jones. So other than Joshua Roy being part of the first wave of cuts, we didn't see any real surprises, right? All these guys are going to go down to Pascal Vincent, and they're going to work to make the Rocket now. Do I think Mandalese will remain with the Rocket? I don't know. Given the fact that either Kähkönen or Dobish are going to win the backup job in Montreal, one of them is going to have to go down. So will there be room for another goalie other than Kähkönen or Dobish? I doubt it. Which means they either go ECHL or get moved, right? Or get let go in the case of Mandalese. Then you take a look at the defense. There was no real surprises there, right? Obviously, with Reinbacher being injured in the hand, he's going to have to stay with the Canadiens technically until he gets healed, and then he'll be sent down to the Rocket, but he's not going to be in Montreal. Then you take a look, with our 7 defensemen as it stands right now, the real battle is going to be between Xhekaj and Struble. And one of the things that you saw tonight that really may have irked Struble a little bit was Arbor Xhekaj pregame. His jersey gets hung up. And what's on it? An A. Look at him giggling. And then you take a look at Strubal's face right here. Yeah, he doesn't look none too happy about it. And here's the thing, right? When you take a look at a guy like Arbor Xhekaj, you're talking about a guy who came from he was a walk-on, made the team. Famously, we talked about the story of him working at Costco. And now in preseason, he's wearing an A on his jersey. And the A, you may say it's just temporary and it's insignificant. It's not. The fact that he's got an A on his jersey speaks volumes towards the recognition by the coaching staff that he's done a lot of work to mature and to become better as a hockey player. So good for you, man. It's a huge step and a huge honor, and you deserve it for the amount of work that you put in. Sure, in the game tonight, Nylander got in on the forecheck and he lost the puck to Tavares and they scored. That happens. And another thing that I heard about as I was driving back home, because I was doing my duties with the Hawkesbury Knights tonight, is that I heard a particular analyst say that Arbor Xhekaj should have done a shoulder check. And then I look at the replay, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and I think to myself, Robertson falls on the puck, right? Xhekaj digs it out from next to Robertson. He turns to move it. And then Nylander comes in to take the puck. When exactly are you supposed to do that shoulder check to see what's coming from behind? It's not as if you're in puck retrieval mode where you don't have the puck and you could afford to turn around and look to see who's coming on the forecheck. You can't do that when you're already engaged with a guy like Robertson. So I don't know where this person got the idea that a shoulder check should be done, but it's the wrong way of thinking. You can disagree with me all you want, but no, you don't shoulder check when you have the puck on your stick. You do it when you don't. Anyhow, getting away from that, Xhekaj deserved what he got tonight as far as wearing the A, and he still had a very good game other than that one particular point, right? And that wasn't really a mistake on his part. It was actually a good forecheck by Nylander that caused the turnover. So let's call it what it is, a smart hockey play by a good player on the Toronto Maple Leafs. There aren't that many of them. Nylander is one of them. Then you take a look at Owen Beck. You take a look at Oliver Kapanen, and they had really solid hockey games. So there's a lot going on, right? And so you knew that a lot of these guys were going to get cut, and you knew that guys like Joshua Roy just didn't have space, right? It's just a numbers game. And as we've discussed before, Roy would have had to really get people's attention. He didn't. He stood back and he let his line mates try to do all the work and he tried to reap the benefits, but the benefits never came. And when you want to make an NHL team as a rookie, you need to make an effort. There's no question that he's got the skill. We saw it all through junior. We saw it at the World Juniors. He's able to do it all. He can kill penalties. He can play well offensively. But he got what I technically call the Drouin syndrome, where he absolutely, positively looked like a deer in the headlights and didn't know what to do with himself on the ice. He got one good shot on the power play from the bumper in 2 games, and that's all you saw from Joshua Roy, other than the fact that he got knocked on his keister a couple of times for being off balance and being out of position when retrieving pucks. So what were you expecting the Canadiens to do? I understand that we want a lot more French-speaking players on the team. I get it. And you know what? I'm all for it if they play to the level that's deserving of wearing the CH on their chest. That's not what happened here with Joshua Roy. He just didn't. And so the Canadiens now have 34 players left in camp. Still a few decisions to be made because they have to whittle everything down to 23. 7 defensemen. It's 7 defensemen, 13 forwards or 14 forwards, and two goaltenders, making it 23. 23-man roster to start the season, right? So there's 11 players that still need to be cut. Who do you think are going to be those guys that are going to make it the other way and head back for the Rocket? Is anybody going to end up on waivers? There's a question for you. Is Joe Veleno going to end up being sent down? I don't know. He played very well, killing penalties, and as I said, he was 63% in the faceoff circle tonight. Is it an anomaly, or is it something that he can do in more than one game? I guarantee you he's going to get a chance to find out. Then there's Oliver Kapanen. Played tonight, rung one off the post, was engaged. And that's not what we saw the other day. So what Oliver Kapanen are going to see? Is he going to force the hand of the Montreal Canadiens? Because that's what it's going to take for him to stay on the roster. The same holds true for Owen Beck. And Beck, instead of being one of the first cuts, now he's in the second wave of this training camp. So he could very well turn some heads and say, hey, he deserves to be here to start the season. But then who do you send down? Are you going to take Sammy Blais and send him down when you need sandpaper in your lineup? That's the whole reason why you went out to get him. So there's a lot of questions that still need to be asked and answered. And we're going to see those in the last two games. The next game comes up on Tuesday when the Canadiens go to Ottawa to face the Senators. And then next Saturday, October 4th, they played Quebec City at the Centre Vidéotron in the last game of the preseason before the season begins on October 8th. What's going to happen? Who do you foresee staying? Is somebody good enough to really get the Canadiens' attention and get them to change their minds? Remains to be seen. Don't forget, give a thumbs up to the videos, like the channel, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for all the latest and greatest. Bye for now.